Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you. Just a reminder, please, if you can, cell phones off, but minds and hearts on and open. And thank you all for coming. Thank you for recording. And this week we have an incredible weekend. What a Shabbos, Shabbat Chevron, for those that are aware, because of the first topic of the Parsha, where Avraham Avinu buys a burial plot for his late wife Sarah. So this week that we read the Parsha, there are thousands of Jews that go to Chevron to show support that we believe the place was bought legally and it belongs to us. But that's just one of the topics in the Parsha, because a little bit later on, our Parsha deals with Avraham sending his servant Eliezer to get a soulmate for his son Yitzchak. This becomes the Parsha of Shiduchim, the Parsha of Zivugim, and marriage and dating and so on. Eliezer winds up finding Rivka, who was the daughter of Besuel. Rivka was the sister of Lavan, and after Rivka expressed her desire to go with Eliezer to become the wife of Yitzchak Avinu, then Rivka's mother and Rivka's brother, Lavan, they gave Rivka a bracha. They gave her a blessing. And it's found in Chayei Sarah 24-60. Vayevarchu es Rivka, and they blessed Rivka. Vayomru la, and they said to her, Achoseinu, our sister, At hayi la'alfei rivava. May you come to be thousands of myriads. V'yirash zareches shar sonav, and may your offspring inherit the gate of its foes. And what did they mean to say with those words? Rashi on the spot says that you and your descendants should receive the very same blessing that Avraham Avinu received in last week's Parsha on Mount Moriah in 22-17, where it was told to Avraham, Harba Arbe es zaracha, I will greatly increase your offspring. What did they bless Rivka with? Yehi ratzon. May it be God's will, Shehei oso hazera mimech, that all those offspring should come from you, v'lo meisha acheres, and not from some other woman Yitzchak might wind up marrying later on. Yitzchak never wound up marrying anybody else, but they didn't know that at the time. They said, whoever, we want that you should become the matriarch of this incredible people that Avraham was blessed with. Now, this bracha that they gave to Rivka has made its way into Jewish tradition. It's made its way into Jewish ceremony, because we find that every kala, every Jewish bride, right before she enters underneath the chuppah, the wedding canopy, we know that the chassan, that's the groom, he goes to see the bride. You know the deal. At the wedding, there's the women's section and the men's section. The bride, she sits on her throne. At some point, the chassan gets marched in with all of the men. We call that the bedekening, and he goes to see his bride. One of the reasons why it's imperative to have that part of the ceremony, to see the bride, is based on a Gemara in Kiddushin 41a. Says Rav Yehud in the name of Rav, Aser la'adam shi'akadesh asa'isha ad shi'irena. It is forbidden to get married until you see what she looks like. I mean, I've heard of a blind date, but not of a blind marriage. We don't hold of that. You have to, what happens if you get married sight unseen, and then you're not pleased with the way the person looks? What are you going to wind up doing? Divorcing her. That's not a way to treat a person. So he goes to see his bride. But then the Ramah says, in Eveno Ezer, in Siman Lamed Aleph, Seif Beis, he cites the Chuvas HaRashba. The Ramah says that after he sees her, that's when the chassan takes the veil and covers the face of the kala. Now, why does the chassan cover her face? In the Sefer Meir Einei Chachamim, he says the reason is because we want to be ma'orer. We want to awaken the kedusha of Rivka Imenu. We want to awaken the holiness of Rivka Imenu, who also had her face covered with a veil right before she got married. As it says in our Parshas Chayei 24-65, Rivka was on the camel, and Yitzchak is coming down from Mount Moriah. When Rivka sees the person she's about to marry, that's Yitzchak, and she took the veil and she covered herself, she covered her face. So therefore, One of the reasons why we cover the face of a bride, we want this bride to take from the energy of Rivka Imei, to walk in the footsteps of Rivka Imenu, and then, right after the chassan covers her face, says the Kitzer Shulchan Aruch in Siman Kuf Mem Zayin, Seif Gimel, that's the point where we bless the bride. What blessing do we give to the bride? The Brocha found in our Parsha, we just mentioned it a moment ago. That's when it is said to the bride, Achoseinu, our sister, At Hayila Alfei Rivava. May you come to be for thousands and myriads. Who's the one that gives that bracha? Traditionally, if the bride has a father, then her father gives her that bracha. If she doesn't, or whatever the case is, then the chassan's father. The truth is, anybody and everybody can give that bracha to the kala. Even if you're just in the crowd, you can send. She doesn't have to hear it. You send the bracha. That is the bracha. So it's interesting. Right after we covered the bride's face, because we want to give her the energy, the holy energy of Rivka, who covered her face. Right then, not only do we do that, but we also give her the bracha of Rivka Imenu. She should be mamish, walking in the footsteps of Rivka, the matriarch, which all brings us to question number one. And that is, why do we bless every Jewish bride specifically with this blessing? The origins of this blessing came from Lavan. Lavan Harasha, Lavan the wicked, a trickster, a gangster, an idolater. That's where we go. We take from his bracha and we bless every holy bride with a bracha coming from Lavan. I mean, is there some kind of shortage of blessings that come from holy people? Some shortage of RABBIS? Don't we have enough people who composed holy brachos to bless our brides with? To borrow from the question of Esav, when Esav went in to get his bracha from his father Yitzchak, and Yitzchak says, I'm sorry, I already blessed another. I can't bless you. What did Esav ask in Toldos? 27:38, Havaracha achasi lacha? Have you but one blessing? So what? You blessed somebody else? Only got one card up your sleeve? You only have one bracha? Give me another bracha. To borrow those words, Havaracha achasi lanu. We only have one blessing. That's it. In all of our literature, only find one bracha, and we get it from Lavan. Come on, cut me a break. There's got to be other brachos out there. Besides, which the Midrash says, to strengthen this question, it's a Parshas Rabbah 60-12 in our Parshas Chayei. Rabbi Brachia and Rabbi Levi, they cite Rabbi Chama bar Chanina, and they say, Mepnei malo nifkeda Rivka ad shenispalel el Yitzchak. Why was Rivka not remembered until Yitzchak prayed for her? Why was she not remembered in having a child? Why was she barren for so many years? Listen to this midrash. Its reason, Shelo yiyu ovdei kochavim omrim tfilaseinu asta peiros, so that the idolaters of the world will not be able to say, our prayers have borne fruit. Because what happened? Could you imagine? Lavan, who's an idolater, just blessed his sister to have thousands and myriads of children. Could you imagine had she gotten married right away, which she did, but imagine she had a child.
His daughter.
Lavan's sister, right? Could you imagine if Lavan, after blessing Rivka, his sister, then she gets married and has a child right away? So you know what the idolaters of the world are going to say to the Jewish people? You owe us. Your entire existence was because of us. That's it. You're in eternal debt because of our bracha. That's why you had children. So in order that they should not come to make such a claim, Hashem made Rivka barren for many years until it says in Toldos 25:21, Vayetar Yitzchak LaHashem lenochach ishto, and Yitzchak entreated Hashem opposite his wife, and he davened. Only then did she have a child, so that it's pretty clear that the child was a result of the tefillos of Yitzchak, not from the idolaters. So what do you see from the Midrash? That because of Lavan's bracha, it caused ba'ayot. It caused problems. That's the type of bracha you want to bless every bride with. Why are we? That's question one. Why are we turning to Lavan in order to find the appropriate blessing to give every kala, every bride on her wedding day? Now, To this question, there are a variety of answers. We're going to share some of them today. Be'ezras Hashem l'chaim. Says the Chassam Sofer in his Torah's Moshe, he offers one answer, our first answer to this first and only question thus far. The Chassam Sofer cites a Gemara Baba Basra on 110a that says, Rov banim domin la'achei ha'em. Most children are similar to the mother's brothers. That's what the Gemara says. Most children will be, identical, maybe personality. Most of them like the mother's brothers. That's why the Gemara says there, if a person gets married, you should always check her brothers first. If you want to find out what kind of children you're going to have, check into the person you're dating. See, go meet her brothers. That's what the Gemara gets it from whom? Aaron a Kohen. Who did Aharon marry? Elisheva bas Aminadav. Elisheva bas Aminadav. And then the pasuk says she was the sister of Nachshon. So the Gemara says we already know the genealogies. Why have to repeat that again? To teach us that before Aharon married Elisheva, he looked to see who her brother was. What's her brother? Nachshon. Nachshon, he's a good guy. He's a good man. The first one to jump into the Yam Suf, he goes down, legendary, right? So that's what the Gemara says. Now, you might, why? Why are children, most of them are like the mother's brothers? I'll tell you what the Tosafists say. Tosfos is found in Yevamos on 62b. Tosfos says, because they share the same mazel. Brothers and sisters, they share the same. That's a very interesting statement because, brothers and sisters can be married at different times of the year. And yet the Tosafists say because they're brother and sister, they share a common mazel, which means it has an effect on the child, which means one doesn't just examine, the person you're dating, the mother, but not just can you look at her to have an indication what the child will or children will be like, but look at her brothers, get a full picture here to see that's what the Gemara says. In any case, says the Chatam Sofer, that Lavan understood all of this. Lavan knew about this rule of thumb that most children are similar to the mother's brothers. And because Lavan knew that, he gave his sister a bracha. What was the bracha? Achoseinu. What do you mean by that? You're my sister. I'm your brother. Because I'm your brother, most of your children will be just like me. Me, a Russia. Me, a trickster. Me, a gangster. A mobster. And then he goes on, once I establish that, you should be for thousands and myriads. His bracha was so that she should become the mother of a nation of swindlers. It's getting worse now. We haven't answered the question. What are we doing? What are we doing? Says the Chatam Sofer. We, however, are Bnei Yaakov Avinu. We come from Yaakov, the big tzaddik Yaakov Avinu, and we're wise, and we use this bracha to our advantage. And how do we do that? It's because we all belong to a pasuk. It's found in Yeshaya in 60-21 that says, Va'amech kulam tzadikim. Your nation, Hashem, they're all righteous. You hear this? According to Yeshaya, the whole nation of Israel, deep down, we're all tzaddikim. Once we're all tzaddikim, we're standing around the Kala on her wedding day. What do we say to her? We say, Achoseinu. You're our sister. Who are we? We're all tzaddikim. So says Yeshaya. And because we're your extended family, we're your brothers and sisters. So now we say, At hayila alfei revava. You should have thousands and myriads of children just like us. Just like we are tzaddikim. In other words, what we've done, says the Chatam Sofer, we've taken the bracha, quote-unquote bracha, of Lavan, and we transformed it into something positive, and we use it for our benefit, to our advantage. And that's the first answer to the first question. What are we doing? What do we mean when we use these words to bless every bride? Says the Chatam Sofer, we're blessing every bride to have children who are tzaddikim like the rest of Klal Yisrael, who are considered to all be tzaddikim. That's the first answer. Yes?
No, but we still had Lavan's bracha. What's happened there?
We haven't got. Well, we're catching up to that. We're catching up. Hopefully, we're going to address that as well. We're going to build. Be'ezer Hashem. You're way ahead of us, Gadi. I'm rushing. I'm running. I'm striving. Be'ezer Hashem. In the meantime, comes along the Chatan Sofer. See, a moment ago we quoted the Chatam Sofer with a Mem, maybe Moshe Sofer, and now it's the Chatan Sofer with a Nun. This was the grandson of the Chatam Sofer with a Mem. Who is the Chatan Sofer with a Nun? His name was Rabbi Shmuel Ehrenfeld. He was in Pressburg, Austria, like his grandfather. He was born in 1835, passed on 1883. He says another reason, a second answer, why we bless every bride with this. What are we thinking? What do we mean to bless her with these words? So he cites a Gemara in Yevamos on 63b. And it goes on to 64a. And the Gemara is talking about a pasuk in Parshas Ba'aloscha. In Ba'aloscha, the Jewish people are in the desert and they're traveling from place to place. Now, when the Jewish people moved, what moved with them? The Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark. And when they rested, the Holy Ark rested. So we have a verse in Ba'aloscha, 10-36, that says, Uvenucho Yomar. And when it rested, when the Aron HaKodesh rested, he would say, Moshe would say the following words, a very famous pasuk. We say this every time we put the Sefer Torah back into the Aron HaKodesh in Shul. We say this pasuk. What did Moshe say? Shuva Hashem, return Hashem, Rivavos Alfei Yisrael, among the myriads and thousands of Israel. Isn't that interesting? We find another interesting, the same type of lingo we just had in the Brocha that was given to every kala from Lavan, myriads and thousands of Israel. And you know what the Gemara does with this pasuk? Says the Gemara, Melamed, this comes to teach us, Sheina Shchina Shora al Pachos Mishnei Alafim Ushnei Revavos Mi Yisrael. We learn from here that the divine presence only rests on the Jewish people on condition that there are at least 22,000 Jews alive at the same time. How did the Gemara make that deduction? Because what did Moshe say? Shuva Hashem. Hashem return. That means the Shekhinah, the divine presence, should return. On whom? Rivavot Alfei Yisrael. Rivavot. That's a plural word. What's the singular? Rivava. What is a Rivava? What is a Rivava? A Rivava is a myriad. What's a myriad? Well, what's a dozen? 12. What's a myriad? 10,000. A Rivava is 10,000. Rivavot is the plural of that word. So if you have the word plural, the smallest plural number is 2. And you only jump to the smallest unless you're told to do otherwise. So Rivavot is 20,000. Right? And then the next word is Alfei. Well, the word Elef is 1,000. That's singular. Alfei is plural. The smallest plural is 2. It's 2,000. So Moshe said, Shuva Hashem. Hashem return to whom? Rivavot. That's 20,000. Alfei. That's 2,000. Yisrael. Moshe said return to the 22,000 of the Jewish people. Not that there were only that number, but he was saying that we have at least 22,000. The Shekhinah should. So the Gemara says, you see from Moshe Rabbeinu's words, that the divine presence will only rest on the Jewish people so long as there are at least 22,000 Jews alive at the same time. And then the Gemara goes on to say, could you imagine a situation where there are 22,000 Jews minus 1, and this guy over here does not want to get involved in the midst of Pru Revu. He's not even trying. He's not even trying to have children. Isn't that person really removing the Shekhinah from the Jewish people? That's what the Gemara says. By the way, Moreinu Harav Shlomo Edels, otherwise known as the Maharsha, classic commentary to Shas, he was from Ostro, Poland, from 1555 to 1632. Says the Maharsha, just parenthetically, what's the deal with the number 22,000? He says we find that this is the number in every instance where you find Shekhinah, there's going to be 22,000. For example, in heaven, we know the Shekhinah, the divine presence, rests in heaven. But you want to know why? Only because there are 22,000 angels, at least, in heaven. How do you know? It's a pasuk. A verse in Psalms, in Tehillim, 68-18. Watch the verse. It says, Rechev Elokim, God's entourage, his heavenly entourage is Ribosayim. Ribosayim means twice 10,000. Twice 10,000. And the pasuk, the next word, Alfei, thousands. That's 2,000. Shin'on, another word for angels. Angels. Hashem's entourage in heaven is 22,000 angels. And in Shemayim, there's of course Hashras Hashchina. So he says the Maharshal, we're finding a pattern that in heaven you need 22,000 holy angels in order for the divine presence to rest. And not only in Shemayim, but even on earth. Come down to earth when the Jews were in the desert. So they encamped in the formation of a box, 3 tribes on every side. And in the center, which tribe was in the center? The tribe of Levi. And what was within the tribe of Levi? The Mishkan, the sanctuary. In the Mishkan, there was, of course, the divine presence rested on the Mishkan. There was Shekhinah on the Mishkan. And so how many Levites were there during this period of time in Jewish history? Parshas Bamidbar 3-39, and Moshe and Aaron counted all the Levites according to their families, Shnayim ve'esrim Aleph, 22,000 Levites. Ovdei Hashem Tzadikim, says the Maharshal, we find the pattern. In heaven it takes 22,000 holy angels for there to be Hashras Hashchina. On earth it takes 22,000 holy Levites for there to be divine presence, and therefore in general, the Jewish people need 22,000 holy Jews in order for there to be the possibility of the divine presence resting among them. All we've done so far is given a what. We see a pattern. We have not shared a why. We haven't done that yet. But Ezras Hashem, we will. A little bit behind the mechanics. Why 22,000? But that will be coming up later, but Ezras Hashem, as we share some more information together. But in the meantime, says the Chatan, so fair with the Nun, we now have a second answer to the first question. Why do we bless every bride this blessing? We say to every bride, At hayla alfei revava. You should be myriads and thousands, 22,000. Why do we give her that bracha? Myriads is 2, thousands are 2, 22,000. It's because the bracha to this bride is, we bless you, you should be zocha to have children, and participate in either reaching or maintaining the number 22,000 of the Jewish people, so that you will be deserving of having the Shekhinah rest on your home, and by extension, we'll all be zocha to have the Shekhinah rest on us, and that's the bracha that we give to every bride. And comes along the Keren LeDavid. Who was the Keren LeDavid? His name is Rabbi David Grunwald. He was the Av Bezdin of Satmar in Hungary from 1867 to 1928. And the Keren LeDavid, he says, well, based on the Chatan so fair with the Nun, there's a third answer to the question. Why? Because according to the Chatan so fair, we're blessing her Alfei Revava, 22,000 for the Shechina. Why would you like to have Shechina rest upon you? I would imagine the answer would be yes. If I'd ask, why do you want the Shekhinah resting upon you? I'm not really sure. What does it mean? What does it mean to have Shekhinah? Says the Keren LeDavid, do you know why we bless this young lady with Shekhinah? Because where there is Shekhinah, there is bracha. Where there is divine presence, there is blessing. Every imaginable type of blessing will be found where there is the Shekhinah. How do we know this? That's what it says in Parshas Yisrael. In 20-21, what did Hashem say? Wherever I permit my name to be mentioned, I will come to you and bless you. What does Rashi say? Rashi cites in the Chilta of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rashi says, in every place that I allow my Shem HaMeforash to be mentioned. What is the Shem HaMeforash? It is God's ineffable name. That's an English word. What does ineffable mean? Shem HaMeforash. Ineffable. Ineffable means too great to be described. In any place, Hashem says to all of us, in any place I allow you to mention my Shem HaMeforash, in that place, Ashresh Shechinasi Alecha, I'll cause my divine presence to rest in that place. And that's what the pasuk means, Avo Elecha Uverachticha. And there I will bless you with every imaginable type of bracha you can ever possibly think of. Oh, the Shem HaMeforash. L'chaim, that could, yeah, the way it's spelled.
When you say that, when you say properly, you don't say it.
Exactly. So wherever that's permitted, that's where the bracha is going to come. So what do you see from here? You see from here that one of the reasons why we bless the Kala, that she should have Alfei right, Revavos of Yisrael, you should be a participant in bringing the number to or maintaining the number of 22,000. We want you to merit a divine presence. Once you merit divine presence, you'll have all possible blessings imaginable. And don't forget, one of the purposes of marriage, one of them is to create a space on this planet for Hashem's divine presence to rest in. It's one of the purposes, one of the functions. How do we know? There's a very famous Gemara people love to quote at the engagement parties, at the Ufraf, Shabbat Chatan, Shabbat Kala, Sheva Brachos, you name. Here the Sota 17a. Dorash Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva expounded. What did he say? Ish v'isha zachu. If a man and a woman, a husband and wife, if they are meritorious, shechina beinehem, the divine presence will dwell between them. Lo zachu, if they don't deserve, eish ochlasam, then fire will consume them. The famous Rashi in this Gemara says, Ish v'isha, man and woman, husband and wife. If you look at how you spell Ish, Aleph Yud Shin, Isha, Aleph Shin Hey, there's a Yud in the word Ish, and there's a Hey in the word Isha. The Yud and the Hey spell God's name, one of God's names. So when there's Yud and Hey, when Hashem is there, and there's divine presence there, represented by one of the names of Hashem, everything's Gavalt, it's amazing. But you take the Yud out, take the Hey, remove Hashem, remove the Shekhinah, then all you're left with is Eish and Eish, the letters that remain. Fire and fire. It's not going to be a pleasant situation, and that's what. So what do you see from here? This Gemara. One of the purposes of marriage, one of them, not the only one, but one of the purposes is to create a space, a place for the divine presence, like a mishkan, ma'at, a small sanctuary, so that Hashem feels comfortable to rest His presence in that place. But what's the benefit at having the Shekhinah rest in a person's home? Once there is Shekhinah, it's a package deal. Shekhinah comes with Brocha. Says the Karen David, that's the third reason what we're thinking about in giving this bracha to a bride. We want her family to be zocha to Shechina and every possible bracha. Now, by the way, once we're speaking about brachot and we're giving to a kala, to a bride, let's jump for a moment to the traditional brachos we give to our children. So says the Shvidei Pinchas, it's very interesting. How do we bless our children traditionally? Well, Yaakov set the pace, set the tone, how a Jew should bless their children. It's found in Parshas Vayechi, in 48-20. What did Yaakov say to Ephraim and Menashe? He said, B'cha yivarech Yisrael le'mor, by you the Jews will bless, saying, Yesimcha Elokim ke'Ephraim v'Menashe. May God make you like Ephraim and Menashe. So Yaakov already set the pace. All Jews should bless their children to be just like Ephraim and Menashe. Now, I love Ephraim and Menashe. They're great guys. But there are also other personalities in the Torah. So why not bless our children like Avraham and Yitzchak? What about Moshe and Aaron? What about David and Daniel? What about the Rashbi and Rabbi Akiva? There's so many other choices. Why Ephraim and Menashe? There are so many reasons given why Ephraim and Menashe. Here comes one of them. It's because not only did Yaakov bless Ephraim and Menashe at the end of his life, but Moshe Rabbeinu blessed Ephraim and Menashe at the end of his life. In Vazosa Brocha 33-17, what did Moshe bless Ephraim and Menashe with? The words are, Vehem Rivavos Ephraim, they are the myriads of Ephraim. The way they laid it on Simchas Torah. And they are the thousands of Menashe. How do you like that? Again, the same type of lingo. Myriads, that's 20,000. Thousands is 2,000. Together, 22,000. You see that Moshe Rabbeinu blessed Ephraim and Menashe to be connected to the number 22,000. You know what that means? That Moshe blessed these two Shvatim to be connected to Shechina, divine presence, which requires at least 22,000. This is what we are doing. One of the reasons, one of the thoughts. We bless our children. Yesimcha Elokim ke'Ephraim u'Menashe. We bless our children that just like Ephraim and Menashe merited the Shechina, we bless you to merit Shechina. And that means, just like once they had Shekhinah, they had every possible blessing imaginable, we bless you with the Shekhinah and every possible bracha one could ever imagine. So it's interesting just to see the pattern, not just a bracha to a kala, but the bracha will be giving to the kala's children. It kind of has that pattern as well. L'chaim. Now, comes along the Shvidei Pinchas. It's based on the Yogel Yaakov. He says something which will provide a fourth answer to our first and only question. What are we trying to say to a bride by using this bracha from Lavan? But before we get there, he points out a bit of another question. He says, why do we bless a bride with this blessing specifically right before the chuppah? The bracha we mentioned before, when do we give the bracha to the kala? At the decaning. First, her face is covered with a veil, like Rivka Imenu. Then we bless her with the bracha like Rivka Imenu. Fine. But that's all done right before the chuppah, right after bedeketing. The next on the itinerary, it's the chuppah, right? So why dafka then? That is the timing of essence as well. Why dafka them? So he says like this. It is. Why? There's another famous Gemara in Sota on 2a. Everyone loves quoting this Gemara when it comes Chasana time and Shidduch time. What does the Gemara say? It's Rabba Bar Chana says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Ve'kasha lezavgon kikriyas yamsuf. It is as hard to make a Shidduch, to make a zivug, to make a match. It's as hard as parting the waters. Did you ever try to part the waters? Not an easy thing to do. Well, it's also equally as hard to bring two different people together. It's a very hard thing to do. Now, why do we compare every couple, right, to Kriyas Yamsuf? There are many reasons that have been given why we compare. I'll share one with you right now from the Zohar. The Zohar says in Parshas Truma, on page 170b, the connection between a zivug, a shidduch, and Kriyas Yamsuf is that at Kriyas Yamsuf, there was a terrible prosecution against the Jewish people because Hashem had set the stage and the angels saw what was coming. Oh, we get it. Hashem's going to part the waters. The Jews are going to march right through. When the Egyptians are in hot pursuit, Hashem's going to cause the waters to crash upon the Egyptians. At which point, says the Zohar, many angels, or I should say destructive forces, lodged a complaint to Hashem. And the complaint was, why are you going to save the Jews and destroy the Egyptians? Smash them both! You want to know why? Because Elu ve'elu ovdei avodah zarah. They are both idolaters, not just the Egyptians, the Jews. The angels testified that the Jews had matched the Egyptians in idolatry because, God bless us. As Jews, we love to adopt the cultural fads in society around. We just love it. I mentioned it before, I'll say it again. I'm an American boy. Americans, I'll talk for myself, love America, love it. Not everything about it, but we love it. We love the language. Come on, we love it. We love the music, we love the entertainment, we love the sports, we love it. Right? And it's been going, we're so patriotic. We pick up culture around us, and the Jews back in Mitzrayim, the same thing. That was the superpower. It was in to worship these other gods. They did. So the angels complained. Why? So says the Zohar, just like there was a prosecution against the Jews at Kriyas Yamsuf, you should know before any couple seal the deal under the chuppah, there's tremendous prosecution against them that the shidduch should not go through. Just like there was prosecution, the Jews should not go through the Yamsuf. There's always a prosecution. This marriage should not go through. They don't want another Jewish home being built. They don't want more Jewish children. They don't want it. There's a prosecution. Now, by the way, those that prosecute against any marriage, what are these forces called? They're called mazikin. Destructive forces, damaging forces. They're called mazikin. Now, how many mazikin are there? How many are there? The Gemara counts them. The Gemara is found in Brocha on 6a. The Gemara says, to a person's right, there are 10,000 mazikin. But to a person's left, there are 1,000 mazikin. So says Abaye in the Gemara. How does Abaye know? I would be satisfied if Abaye says. He says that's a source. But how does he know? It's a pasuk. It's found in Tehillim. It's a favorite psalm. Who doesn't love Psalm 91? It's a very famous psalm. In Psalm 91, verse 7, what does it say? Yipol mitzitecha elef. 1,000 will fall victim at your side. Which side? I didn't say which side yet. You'll tell me in a moment. Let's keep reading. Then it says, Uravava miminecha. And the myriad will fall victim at your right side. If a myriad will fall at the right side, and it said before that 1,000 will fall at your side, what other side do you think we might be referring to? The left side. But then the pasuk says, Eilecha lo yigash, but to you it will not approach. So what do you see from this Gemara? Which deduces, it's kind of explicit in the pasuk, there are altogether 11,000 destructive forces. 10,000 on the right, 1,000 on the left. We are surrounded by destructive forces. L'chaim. Now, we can't tolerate having so many destructive forces. What do we got to do? We got to be mevatil them. Mevatil means got to nullify them. We got to get rid of them. I use the word mevatil from the word bittul. Bittul, nullification. In kashrus, how do you mevatil something? Something not kosher into kosher. What's the famous number? 60. Shishim. That's one of the ways of bittul. But did you know there's another way of being mevatil something? It's called chad betray. 1 in 2. Chad, one non-kosher substance, betray in 2 kosher substances. It's also a form of bittul. When do we use that form of bittul? There are conditions. It's got to be chaticha, she'ena regulus chabed, not such an honorable type of piece. It's got to be min b'mino, the same species. It's got to be yavish b'yavesh, whatever. There are conditions. For further analysis about this type of bittul, look it up yourselves. Hilchos Ta'aroves. In Yoredeya, Siman Kuftes, chapter 109, and the 2 subchapters, it's only 2, Aleph and Beis, you'll see the idea, Chad betray. Like the pasuk says, Acharei Rabbim Lahatos, go after the majority. 3 judges, 2 judges decide one verdict, and a 3rd judge decides a different way. Acharei Rabbim Lahatos. The pasuk says, the 3rd judge is like batil to the other 2. It's chad betray. 1 gets nullified in the 2. Go after the majority in the same way. It's like the eggs. 3 eggs, because maybe 1 has a blood spot, whatever. So 3 eggs, chad betray. 1 and 2. It's another form of bittul. We're going to use that form of bittul for our purposes Kabbalistically here. We've got 10,000 mazikin to the right, 1,000 to the left. So therefore, it is imperative to have, if there are 10,000 mazikin, we need at least 20,000 holy Jews to be mevatel 10,000 mazikin chad betray, 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2 means you need twice the amount. If there are 1,000 mazikin to the other side, then we need at least 2,000 holy Jews to be mevatel those mazikin. In other words, there are, once we have 22,000 Jews, we can be mevatel the 11,000 mazikin. I think Gadi has a question. He's not happy with the math. Let me tell you what he's asking, I think. All right, here the question is, wait a minute, slow down. So, 20,000 Jews are mevatel 11,000 mazikin chad betray, but wait a second, each person has 10,000 and 1,000. Wait, so I have 11,000, you have 11,000, that's 22,000, you have 11,000, now we're just keep 33,000, 44,000, we're overwhelmed with mazikin. So how did 22,000 Jews mevatel? I'm so happy you raised that question, thank you, right? And so, I'm just to defend the Yogil Yaakov, I think what he means to say is that when there are 22,000 Jews together, first as a nation we focus on you. Let's take care of your mazikin. And then we focus on you. You see, we do it individually. The nation focuses on one, you, then me, then you, we go around. If you do it that way, it's always 22,000 holy Jews being mevatel each individual's 11,000. We finished with you, move on to the next person, and then once Once we remove the 11,000 mazikin, that provides a platform in which the divine presence can rest. You see, you know why sometimes there's no Shekhinah in a place? Because there are mazikin around. There are destructive and damaging forces. They're unhealthy, filthy forces, not the place for the divine presence to rest. Welcome, good afternoon. So therefore, once we are mevatil, if we can nullify the 11,000 mazikin with 22,000 Jews, we remove, once we get rid of the mazikin, we create a vacuum in which the Shekhinah can rest, and that's why it takes 22,000. You know, a few moments ago, L'chaim, Gadi, a few moments ago, what happened was we had the Maharsha, right? Are we good? The Maharsha had said, what's with the number 22,000? What did it say, right? We find 22,000 angels in heaven. We found 22,000 Levites down below, right? So we showed a what? We showed a pattern for me. We didn't know why. At the time we said, we'll show why later on. Now we're at later on. Now here we are, later on. And so, Be'ezus Hashem, you know one of the mechanics behind why do we need 22,000 Jews at least in order to provide the divine presence to rest upon us? Because there are 11,000 mazikin. And it takes 22,000 Jews to be mevatil, the mazikin, chad betray, 1 and 2. And that's the reason, it's a bit of a reason behind the mechanics, how it works. Now with 22,000 Jews, remove the mazikin, we cleansed the area. Now it's a place that's worthy of having the Shekhinah rest upon. That's the reason. And therefore says the Shvili Pinchas, this is the fourth answer to the first question. We wanted to know why. Why do we bless the Kal, every bride, with this bracha? You should be thousands and myriads and so on, but we dafka do it right before the chuppah. It was also part of his question, right before the chuppah. So he says, you know why? Because right before the chuppah, there's a tremendous kitrog, a tremendous prosecution against this marriage. It shouldn't go through, like we had the Zohar said. Why do we compare every shidduch, every zivug to Kriyas Yamsuf? According to the Zohar, if just like a Kriyas Yamsuf, there was a kitrog, a prosecution against the Jewish, that they should not be able to go through. Before every marriage, there's always a prosecution that maybe the marriage should not go through. They should not bring more Jewish children into the world. There's a kitrog. So dafka, specifically, right, it's pretty intense at a wedding. That's why it's so intense. That's why things go wrong, by the way, at the wedding. There's a kitrog. There's a prosecution. Things, this went wrong, that went wrong. The forces of evil are trying to disrupt the marriage from actually happening. So the bracha we give, At hayil alfei revava. You should be thousands and myriads, meaning a participant in bringing the number to or maintaining the number of 22,000, so that what? The 22,000 holy Jews can be mavatil, can nullify the 11,000 mazikin who are prosecuting against this marriage right now. And once we remove those mazikin, bittel chad betray, now there's going to be Shekhinah. Once there's Shekhinah, you should be blessed with every possible imaginable blessing ever conceivable, all because there's no longer any mazikin, and now we have all the brachos. And by the way, since we're going back and forth between the blessings we give to a bride and the blessings we bless our children with traditionally, it's unbelievable. Think about this. L'chaim. We said before that, so Yaakov Avinu set the pace. We should always bless our children to be like Ephraim and Menashe. Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Why Ephraim and Menashe? Because Moshe Rabbeinu also blessed Ephraim and Menashe. They rivavos Ephraim, alfei Menashe. Myriads to Ephraim and alfei to Menashe. Okay, we also mentioned the mazikin, 10,000 to the right, 1,000 to the left. I'm just reminding us. Now, this all sets the stage. It's unbelievable. When Yaakov Avinu blessed Ephraim and Menashe in Parshas Vayechi, 48:14, what did he do? The pasuk says, "Sikel es yadav." He crisscrossed his hands. Yaakov, what are you doing? Yaakov puts his right hand on Ephraim, puts his left hand on Menashe, and gives them the bracha in that way. Wow. By Yaakov putting his right hand on Ephraim, Yaakov basically said Ephraim represents the right side. When Yaakov put his left hand on Menashe, he meant to say, Menashe, you represent the left side. That's what Yaakov did. Where Yaakov left off, Moshe Rabbeinu picked up. What did Moshe Rabbeinu say? Aha! So Yaakov says that Ephraim is the right side. On the right side of a person, how many destructive forces are there? Says the Gemara in Brocha, Son Vavim and Aleph. How many forces? 10,000. What does Moshe bless Ephraim with? Vein Rivavos Ephraim. Ephraim, because you represent the right side, you get blessed with Rivavot. Myriads, at least 2. That's 20,000. We need at least 22,000 from you to be mavatel the 10,000 mazikin on the right side. Chad betray. And because Yaakov said you, Menashe, represent the left side, and the Gemara is on the left side of a person, there's 1,000 mazikin. So therefore, what's the bracha to you, Menashe? You need alfei. We need thousands, at least 2,000 to be mavatel the 1,000 mazikin on the left side. Chad, but an incredible idea of how we bless our children, and if we put both hands on our, don't we put both hands? Many minhagim have both hands. Some do one, different minhagim, but according to this, you put both hands on a child. You should be blessed like Ephraim and Menashe, that the right side and the left side should be taken, all the mazikin cleared out, so you should be zocheh to have the Shechina, and once you have the Shechina, all possible blessings will rest upon. What incredible this Chevra so far. Let's recap. We had one question. We bless every bride with the bracha found in this week's parsha by Lavan. At hayila alfei revava. Right? We wanted to know what are we doing? What are we taking a bracha from a Russia? Right? We have 4 different answers so far. Let's recap right now. What's the first answer? What are we trying to say to the bride? According to the Chatam Sofer with a mem, we're saying Achoseinu, our sister. You're our sister, and therefore we hope that the majority of your children should be just like us. We're tzaddikim, you should have tzaddikim as children. Number 2, the Chatan Sofer with a nun. He said that we bless you with myriads, thousands, 22,000. Be a participant in bringing the number 2 or maintaining the number of 22,000, so that there's going to be Shechina in your family and by extension all the Jewish people. And that's the second. Says the Keren L'Davar, the third reason. Once there's Shechina, there's going to be every possible bracha. We want, you should have all the brachas in the world, and according to the Yogel Yaakov, we want that the 22,000 Jews you're going to be participating in reaching or maintaining should be mavatil all the mazikin, destroy all this prosecution, that the marriage should go through smooth, no obstacles in your way for the course of your life. An amazing thing. Although we had 4 answers to the first question, we still haven't really answered the first question. And Gadi mentioned that from the get-go, from the beginning. Because it's an aspect of question when we haven't answered. In other words, I see what we're trying to say. I mean, wow, it's amazing. I would never thought of that on my own. Amazing thoughts and kavanos to have. Bless every kala with this bracha. But question 1 was, why do we have to turn to a Lavan Harasha, to a Lavan? You got to be kidding me. That's where we turn. We're going to borrow a bracha, take a bracha from Lavan. He's a wicked man. He's a wicked man. He's a trickster and a gangster. So why do you take brachas? Are some kind of shortage of brachas? Some shortage of rebbes? We don't have our own brachas to draw from? We got to draw from Lavan? Who knows? Who knows how damaging they could possibly? Who knows what he was thinking? Who knows? Who knows? Hashem Yerachim. Why turn to him? That was the question.
Also, it's the same thing. The Gemara mentions that a person who didn't see the base of Mikdash in the time of Cordis,
yes,
that didn't see a beautiful building in his lifetime. It's not a bracha. But why should the Gemara even mention it? He was such a rasha. He killed his wife, he killed his children, he killed the Am Yisrael, he killed all the things he came. So why should he even mention it?
Exactly. Right. Very similar question. Right? Also Bilam, another similar question. Matovu Olecha Yaakov. Mishkan Osecha Yisrael, Bilam. And every morning we go in, we say that pasuk Matovu, taking it as a whole shaila. What are we doing? Taking a tefillah from Bilam or Russia? It's a machlokas. Mishnah Berurah says it's a machlokas. Some say don't say it.
Maybe it's because to have the power to overcome something, like an antidote, you need some of the poison itself.
Interesting. I like that. Very nice theory. I like that. I like that very much. Now I want to share also on top of that, in addition to that, something else as well. But to do so, to see more of the parsha. What does it say in our parsha? You know, this whole story of shiduchim and zivugim, of soulmates, it begins in Chayei Sarah 24-1. Va'avraham zakin babayamim. Now Avram was old, well on in the years. V'Hashem beirachas Avram bakol. And Hashem had blessed Avram with everything. What does Rashi say? Bakol, with everything. What could everything possibly be? A bracha with everything. What does Rashi say? Bakol, ola b'gematria ben. The word bakol, which means with everything, has the same numerical value as the Hebrew word ben. Ben means a son. Ben is 52. The word bakol is 52. And so really Rashi says the pasuk is teaching us that Hashem blessed Avraham with everything which was his son Yitzchak. Ben, now that he has a son, now you have to get him married. And therefore he called Eliezer, go find a soulmate for my son Yitzchak. Question number 2. Why do we need a gematria to tell us, a numerical value to tell us that Avram had a son called Yitzchak? There are many explicit verses that tell us he had a son Yitzchak. Even right after this pasuk, pasuk Aleph, pasuk Daled. A few verses later, what does it say? V'lakachta isha livni Yitzchak. Take a wife for my son Yitzchak. We have explicit verses. Avram had a son Yitzchak. I need a gematria. Bakol is gematria ben. Now that he has a ben, it's a man. Well, who needs a gematria to establish that he had a son Yitzchak? We know he had a son from Psukim. That's question 2. But the story continues. So jump to verse 50. Vayan Lavan and Besuel Vayamru. Lavan and Besuel answered Eliezer and said, May Hashem yatsa hadavar. The matter stemmed from Hashem. Lo nuchal daber elecha ra'u tov. We can say to you neither good or bad. The next pasuk 51 here. Rivka is before you. Take her and go. Let her be a wife to your master's son, as Hashem has spoken. And you skip a few verses, verse 55, and they're singing a different song. Suddenly, Vayomer Achia Ve'ima, the brother of Rivka, that was Lavan, the mother of Rivka, what do they say to Eliezer? Teishev Hanara Itanu. You know, we changed our mind. I mean, we said a minute ago, take her. Now we leave the maiden here with us. Yamim wasor, either for a year or 10 months, and afterwards, then she can go with you. Then she can go. Leave her here, right? And so in the next pasuk, Vayomer Aleim, what did Eliezer say to them? Al ta'acharu osi, do not delay me. V'Hashem etzliach darki, now that Hashem has made my journey successful, shalachuni, send me, ve'elchel adoni, and I will go to my master. Question number 3. What was the vikuach? What was the debate? You have, Lavan and Rivka's mother on the one hand. They're saying, let her stay for a year, at least 10 months, right? Eliezer says, no, I got to go right now. Why? Why does she have to stay for a year or 10 months? Why do you have to go right now? Well, what's going on? Why? That's question 3. So watch this. The Arizal and the Chassam Sofer, they say like this. L'chaim. They say, wicked people have no connection to the Shem Havaya. God's tetragrammaton name, Yud Kei Vav Kei, they've got no connection to that name of Hashem because that's a name of compassion. And wicked people are not coming from a place of compassion. So they have no authority on the Shem Havaya, they have no connection to the Shem Havaya. They're not connected to that name of God. However, wicked people who are coming from the side of harshness and strict justice, they're very much connected to the name of Elokim. Because Elokim is a name of din, of strict and harshness. So therefore, as a matter of fact, the wicked people, they nurse off of the Shem El. Where do they get their energy from? It's got to be from a holy source, but they nurse from the name of Elokim. So much so, the expression Elohim Acherim for foreign gods can be translated as that Acherim, others, who yonek, who nurse from Elokim. Elokim Acherim. There are Acherim, there are these other people, others, on the dark side, that actually get their energy from Elokim. It's an interesting way of learning. How do we know that wicked people have no connection to the name Havaya, but they are connected to Elokim? How do we know? Let's take one guy, for example, Paro. Paro, to the dark side. Paro is a wicked man, right? When Moshe and Aaron walked into the palace, they said in the name of God, let my people go so that they may serve me. What does Paro say in Shemos 5-2? Mi havaya asher eshma bekolo. Who is this Havaya that I should listen to his voice? Who is Havaya? Paro's got no idea who Havaya is. There's no idea. To send Israel out? Lo yadati et Havaya. I know not this Havaya. Paro has got no clue what Havaya is. Paro's coming from a side of darkness, harshness, strict justice. He's not connected to Havaya. But according to some, the very same Paro, earlier on in Parshas Miketz, 41-39, says to Yosef HaTzadik, Acharei hodia Elokim oscha eskolzos, seeing that Elokim has informed you about all that's going to be happening with the years of plenty and the years of famine. There's nobody as wise as you. You're going to be the viceroy of my empire. How do you like that? Paro easily quotes Elokim like that. Elokim. You know why? Because Paro's a bad guy. From Russia. Rishayim, wicked people, are connected to Shem Elokim because they actually nurse from that side. Therefore, says the Chatam Sofer, this could be the answer to question number 3. Lavan, Besuel, the mother. First they said, what did they say? They said, May Hashem Yatza Hadavar. What does that mean? May Havaya. It's the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. May Havaya Yatza Hadavar. This is a match made in, not only in heaven, a match made by Havaya. So we can't say anything about this. Not good, not bad. We're not connected to Havaya. We've got no authority in the realm, in the domain of Havaya. We can't say anything. They said, take her. It's out of our league. Havaya is out of our league. But then they had a second thought. The next morning, wait a minute. Leave Rivka with us for a year, at least 10 months. What are they going to accomplish? We have like the photographer, what with the balloons, the flowers. What do you have? The hall? What are you waiting so long for? What? It's because they said, leave her here because we hope in that span of time we can connect to the name of Elokim, draw upon the harshness, the strictness of Elokim, which is like a prosecution. We're going to bring Elokim, we're going to bring Din into this shidduch, and we're going to destroy it, disrupt it. We want to put a wedge. That's what they intended to do. That was their thinking. We want to bring Elokim. We want to stop. Who want? They don't want Jews. They don't want Jews in the world. They want Jews. Klal Yisrael. They're anti having Klal Yisrael, what we represent. Eliezer understood where they were coming from. You wanted to hang around? You think you're going to draw upon the shame of Elokim and put a prosecution on this shidduch and you're going to stop it? He says to them, it's not going to work. You want to know why? Al ta'acharu osi, don't delay me. Vahavaya hitzliach darki. Not just has Havaya, God, made my path successful. He said Vahavaya and Hashem. There's a Vav that Eliezer added in front of the name of Hashem. Why did he add a Vav in front of Hashem's name? Did you know? Whenever the letter Vav appears before Hashem's name, it comes to include not just Hashem, but Hashem's court of law up there in heaven. Hashem's bestin. How do we know? We had it last week's Parsha, Vayera, 19-24. When it came time to destroy Sodom and Amorah, what does the pasuk say? Vahavaya, Vahashem himtir al Sodom v'Amorah gofes v'esh. And Hashem caused sulfur and fire to rain down upon Sodom and Amorah. It says Vahashem. Rashi on the spot cites a midrash. It's a Brocha Rabbah, 51-2. Rabbi Elazar says, Kol makom shenamar Vahavaya. Whenever it says Vav before the name Havaya, Vahashem, who ubeis dino. It's Hashem and his besdin. So now we know a Vav. Havaya means Hashem, but the Vav before Hashem means Hashem's besdin. So now if I ask you, what does the Vav come to include? Please tell me, what does it come to include?
Hashem's best.
Okay, Hashem's best what? His bet what? Din. His bet din. A courtroom is a very cold place. It's a very harsh place. That's not the place for compassion. The law comes down hard and fast, and that's the way it is. I'm sorry. Right? It's din. So therefore, Vahashem, says Eliezer. Eliezer says, you want Rivka to stay with you for a year, maybe 10 months. You think you're going to bring Elokim into this picture? Somehow draw upon the Midas Hadin and try to cause a prosecution against the Shidduch and try and prevent it from going through? It ain't going to work. You want to know why? Vahashem. Not just Hashem agrees to the shidduch. V'Hashem and Hashem. The Vav, even the best din, even the court of law, of strict justice, also put its stamp of approval to this shidduch. It's already passed through all the channels of din. Even Midas Hadin says that this shidduch is going through. Why? Why would they deserve to have even Midas Hadin, no prosecution against this shidduch? Why? It's because, says the Shvili Pinchas L'chaim, he says because Avraham's way of serving Hashem was through chesed, kindness. Chesed is Midas Haracham, in the side of compassion. Yitzchak's way of serving Hashem was different. It was through Gvura. It's called Midas Hadin. Yitzchak was not a carbon copy of his father Avraham. Yitzchak, boy, there were no cookie cutters there, man. They were two different people altogether, right? Avraham is out there, doing a song and a dance. Hey, brother, hey, sister, come on in, have a meal. What a personality. He's funny. People feel comfortable. That's not Yitzchak. Yitzchak was not doing that. Where is the man? Where is Yitzchak? I don't even know half the time where the man is. Do you know from all the 7 shepherds of Israel, there are fewer psukim about Yitzchak? There are less verses by Yitzchak, and that speaks volumes. You know why? If Avram was an extrovert, Yitzchak was an introvert. Where was Yitzchak? He's cooped up at home. What's he doing? Deep, heavy meditation. He's a hardcore type of guy. He's a very serious Oved Hashem. Avraham's happy-go-lucky. Yitzchak's serious Oved Hashem. It's a different approach, Yitzchak. He serves Hashem with Midas Hadin. It's a path. It works for some people, but not for everybody. But that was Yitzchak. So because Avraham served Hashem from Chesed Midas Harachamim, and Yitzchak served Midas Hadin, Gevura, therefore both sides in heaven agreed to this shidduch, in the merits of Avraham and Yitzchak. And that's why this whole parsha of Shidduchim, how does it begin? It says, the pasuk says, V'Hashem beirach es Avraham. And Hashem blessed Avraham. There you go again. V'Hashem, V'Havaya. The parsha, the story begins, V'Havaya, and not just Hashem blessed Avraham, and Hashem, according to the rule of thumb that the Vav includes the Bezdin, even the Bezdin blessed Avraham. So a person might ask, why would even the side of Din bless Avraham? Why even Din? Rachamim blesses Avraham. Why Din? So quickly to answer the second question, that's why the next word is Bako. A quick answer. Bakol b'gematria ben. Bakol's ben. Ben is who is Yitzchak. You follow what I'm saying? We asked, the question 2 was, why do we need a gematria to teach us that Avraham had a Yitzchak? We have explicit verses. The answer is, the gematria is not there to teach us that Avraham had a Yitzchak. We have verses for that. What's the gematria for? To answer this question, the pasuk begins, V'Hashem beirach es Avraham, and Hashem, even the best din even blessed Avraham. Why? Quick answer, Bako. Because of Bako, because of Ben, because of Yitzchak, because he had a Yitzchak, because the two of them together. Avram served with Rachamim, Yitzchak with Din. It was a quick answer as to why they deserve to have both sides in Shemayim blessing. And you know something? It's an incredible thing. Eliezer, he told this to Lavan, he told it to Rivka's family, and he said, that's it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And what was their reaction? Besuel, he took off already. Lavan was there, the whole family of wicked people. What did they say after Eliezer said, we got to go right now? They said, you know what? Seid mit gesund. Should be healthy. Mazel tov. Go. Should be able to buy Yis Ne'eman be Yisrael. Right? They start building brachos. Wow, these what? I'm looking at these people. I can't believe they're even speaking that way. Vukim der. It's azab bracha. What do you come to such brachos? Go build. Mazel tov. Blessings. What blessings are Rishayim? They hate the building of Klal Yisrael. What are they doing? It's reminiscent of what the Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah, a typical case of kateger nasis haneger, where the prosecution became the defense. Like the Gemara says in Shabbos on Kuf Yud Tes Amud Beis, where the bad angel says Amen to the bracha of a good angel. I'm shocked. Ani b'shok. A bad angel gives a bracha, says Amen to the blessing of a good angel. What's going on? You know what's happening here, Chavra? Watch this. L'chaim. We know of all the three patriarchs, Yaakov is most connected to Shabbos. How do we know? It's a Gemara in Shabbos. Kuf Yud Chesam Melav to Amud Beis. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan says in the name of Rabbi Yossi, Kol ha'ma'aneg es hash, anyone that delights the Sabbath, Hashem will give that person an inheritance like Yaakov Avinu. That's right. And then it cites a pasuk in Yeshaya that Hashem will give that person a nachala, an inheritance, like Yaakov Avinu. It's in Yeshaya 58-14. So the Gemara goes on to say, the person was not promised an inheritance like Avraham, to whom it was said, get up and walk around the borders of the land of Israel, right? And not like an inheritance of Yitzchak, to whom it was told, these lands will be given to you and your descendants, but like Yaakov, to whom it was said, Ufaratzta, Yama v'kedma, Tzafona v'negba. Faratzta means to break out. Avraham was given the land. Yitzchak was given the land that's contained. Yaakov's inheritance, Ufaratz, to break out. There's no limit. It's not contained. You'll spread out and take over everything. And a person keeps Shabbos this way, he gets a bracha like Yaakov Avinu. The Gemara puts Yaakov Avinu together with Shabbos. Yaakov is the Bechina. Yaakov is the essence of Shabbos. Now, let's talk about Shabbos for a moment. Shabbos. On Shabbos, right, a person comes home Friday night and there are two angels, a good angel and a bad angel. They come into the house, and if the candles are lit for Shabbos, the table is set for Shabbos, the beds have been made for Shabbos, the good angel says, may it be God's will that next Shabbos the same thing should be repeated. And what happens? The bad angel says, Amen. You've got to be kidding me. Who said Amen? A bad angel? He's an anti-Shabbos guy. Why would he say Amen? What do you see from here? That the power of Shabbos is, it can transform a bad angel into a good angel. I mean, if you desecrate the Shabbos, it's the other way around. But if you keep the Shabbos observance can transform a bad malach into a good malach. And he says Amen. I'm shocked, a bad malach, but that's the power of Shabbos. And if Shabbos is connected to Yaakov, then Yaakov has the same power of transforming negative into positive. This is why Eliezer is making a shidduch between Yitzchak and Rivka. Already together, they're going to have a Yaakov Avinu. That means this is the beginning of the energy of Yaakov Avinu entering into the world. Yaakov Avinu's energy starts coming down. The power of Yaakov is like Shabbos. Shabbos transforms negative to positive, which is why suddenly we find Besuel, Lavan, Rivka's mother, go, be gesund, mazel tov, build a bias, never be Yisrael. What do they say? You know why? Because something happened to them. Because the energy of Yaakov came down. They were transformed. And Yaakov has that power. You see it in his name, L'chaim. Yaakov is numerically 182. 182 is the same gematria as Malach, angel. No, it's not. Malach is 91. But Malach, to Malach is 182. So why Yaakov 182? Why is Malach 91? Why? If there are two Malachim, one's a good one, one's a bad one. But Yaakov, the number tells us that the power of Yaakov is he can transform the bad one to the good one. Both are Malachim too. They're identical Malachim. That's the power of Yaakov, and therefore that's the answer. Says the Shvili Pinchas to question number one, our fifth approach. We wanted to know, it's the real answer now, because what are we doing taking a bracha? The question was, taking a bracha from a Russia, from Lavan, what are we doing? Are we missing any tzaddikim? We're missing holy brachas. Why? From a Russia, how could we take a bracha from a Russia was the question. You know what the answer is? We didn't take this bracha from a Russia. We took this bracha from a tzaddik. You see, Lavan had a moment. Lavan had a moment. A righteous moment. When Eliezer is involved in bringing Yitzchak and Rivka together, who are going to bring Yaakov Avinu into the world, already the energy of Yaakov is coming down. Yaakov is Shabbos. Shabbos' power is. Yaakov's power is to transform negative to positive. Lavan and the family had a moment. They were temporarily righteous. We took the bracha when they said Atayil Alfei Ravava. They were tzaddikim at the moment. Oh, they went back to their thieving ways. That was late. But now, Ba'asher Husham, the moment tzaddikim, and that's why we bless the Kala with this bracha. We're saying to the Kala, all those mazikin, all those destructive forces they want to prosecute against you, you should be blessed that they should all be transformed, like Lavan was transformed into a tzaddik for a moment. We want that all the negative forces should be transformed for you into positive, defending attorneys and helping things go through in a healthy, smooth way. And that's why the Imrei Noam says, did you know there's a minhag, he says, that at a wedding, where you're dancing around the chassan and kala, he cites a minhag, people should be screaming Shabbos. Shabbos, na-na-nai, na-na-nai, Shabbos. Yeah, I never really saw it done, but he cites it as a minhag. Why? So one reason is because, people love lots of, Imrei Noam, so lots of things they love. People love eating, they love drinking, they love whatever, but sometimes we don't do it in the context of holiness. Shabbos has the power to take all those physical activities, we direct it towards Avodas Hashem. There's a lot of love at a wedding. We're not so sure what the thoughts are. We scream Shabbos, we direct all that love to holiness. That's one reason. But another reason is because since there are so many prosecuting attorneys, they don't want this whole thing to go through, we say Shabbos. We bring in the energy of Shabbos. We transform all the mazikin into defending attorneys, and therefore, even though I haven't really found this minhag practiced of screaming Shabbos around the dancing, but we do mention Shabbos during a wedding under the chuppah. They read the ksuva, they read the date, whatever it is, b'Shabbos. So we mention Shabbos in any case chevra as a means of a practical application. L'chaim. Let's make it our practice at every wedding, every Sheva Brachos, to bless the bride with the words Achoseinu Atayil Alfei Revava, and keep in mind the following thoughts. Number one, from the Chatam Sofer with a mem, you're our sister. Your children should be tzaddikim. Number two, from the Chatan Sofer, you should be zochet to participate in bringing the number two, or at least maintaining 22,000, so that you have Shechina. Like number three, the Keren LeDavid, once you have Shechina, you'll have all possible bracha. Number four, we had from the Yogil Yaakov, that hopefully the 22,000 will be Mavatel, all the mazikin and prosecution chad betray. And number five, even better than that, like Lavan was transformed from a Russia to a tzaddik momentarily. So we hope that all those opposed to you should be transformed into positive energies, which is even better. And also keep in mind, Chevra, another practical application, when we bless our children with the traditional brachos, Yesimcha Elokim ki Ephraim v'chem, and let's keep in mind, some minhagim, they put both hands on the child's head, right and left, Ephraim and Menashe, that we say, you know what, you should be zocheh to be blessed like they were blessed with 22,000. You should be connected to that number. You should be zocheh to that amount of holy Jews, that to be mavatel, all the mazikin around you, the 11,000, in order that you'll also be zocheh to the Shekhinah and all the brachos that come where there is a Shekhinah. And these blessings, Chevra, are not limited to brides, to grooms, or to children. Let's grow accustomed more and more honor to give each other these brachos all the time. We can bless each other. It's a bracha, and they should have cards made, cards with the bracha on one side, and on the other side, all the quick kavanos from all the mefarshim, and have in mind, bring it with us, and we should always be blessing each other with these types of brachos. So may we, angels, who are Bnei Avraham, Yitzchak, Rivka, and Yaakov, all be blessed like Ephraim and Menashe, and participate in increasing the ranks of the Jewish people with tzaddikim who will destroy destructive evil forces, or better yet, transform them into good energies in order that the Shekhinah rests upon us, bringing us all possible blessings with Havaya Elokim's stamp of approval.